What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I'm your host, Rex Ruger.
And I'm your other host, Rexx and Bengz.
Back with terrible reception. Let me take it away from here, man.
Hey, what's up, brothers?
Are you in here? Do we got him? There he is. Yeah. We eventually made it happen, man. Thank God for technology making everything so much easier, man. Right?
Yeah, you're right. It's all good, man.
And listen, man, first of all, I want to tell people LAVERT FORREST, who the brother of the late, great, and that is not up for debate, Vernon the VIPER FORREST, who should be a Hall of Famer. Don't get me started on that. We'll get into that later, man. But first of all, man, great to have you on here, man. And I'm glad you're on here because we were just talking off air. Vernon doesn't seem to get the shine that other guys get. And I just don't understand why. We're kind of comparing him in a similar situation to Arturo Gatti, a guy who got in with a similar, actually not even as good a record as Vernon, and got in posthumously. And I don't understand why this seemingly snubbing of Vernon.
Yeah. First of all, I want to appreciate you guys for allowing me to come on. Rexx, Benji, man, on the behalf of the late Vernon FORREST, my brother, my mom, and my family, and boxing fans around the world, sports fans. Appreciate you guys, what you guys do off the couch boxing, and I appreciate your show. So thank you all for allowing me to come on.
Our pleasure.
Vernon, when you look at his life, he didn't have an easy road from our childhood. Making the Olympic team. He made the Olympic team, 1992 Olympic team over in Barcelona, Spain. And he had a phenomenal amateur career going into his professional career. Y'all know his professional career. He had an outstanding professional career as well. And I just think that it's just a travesty of justice. It's a travesty of the sports world to not have this man in a professional boxing Hall of Fame for what he stood for, the people he fought, the people who didn't fight him, is a travesty as well. You look at Vernon's career.
Yeah, and it's a great one.
And a lot of people, they look at it as being a high risk, low pay fight. You look at De La Hoya, you look at Floyd Mayweather. All those guys were great in their own right. I appreciate Sugar Shane Mosley. Sugar Shane Mosley gave him, and those guys were friends. Him and Shane Mosley, they fought, as amateurs.
Yep.
But I really appreciate what Shane giving Vernon the opportunity. But it's a travesty of justice for not having this man in the Hall of Fame. It really is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
You look at his body of work; it's self-explanatory.
Yeah. One thing that I like about being friends with you on Facebook is, you're very uplifting, very spiritual, certainly try to look at things in a positive light. Was that spirituality always prevalent with you? And how did that get you through the tragic death of Vernon?
Oh, wow, man, that question, that's like first of all, once again, man, I just want to appreciate all your fans out there for allowing us to come on to be on your show. It's an honor and a privilege
for us too.
It's our honor, man.
Yeah. And I got something for you two guys, and we'll talk about it at the end of your show.
Okay.
But, I'm a minister, and so I went on I think it was 21 day fast. I was out there doing a revival. And Vernon got killed a year to that month. And so I was on a high. And so when I heard of his death, it was a bad dream. It was like a bad dream that I wanted to get out of. I received 5 phone calls that particular night, one from one of my older brothers, my older sister, my older brother called me back again. And my baby brother called me and told me, he couldn't get the words out that Vernon was dead. And then my baby sister called me. So Vernon was always a positive guy. I mean, he was, the life of the party. He was full of life. And we had, and a lot of my other, siblings and other friends, but Vernon was full of life. And I got a lot of my motivation from Vernon. I mean, he was born January I was born January 18, 1970. He was born February the 12th, 1971. So he has a birthday coming up, but we can do another show during his birthday if you want to.
Absolutely.
I really looked up to him and started him looking up to me. I really looked up to Vernon. And so dealing with his death, I just told his story. I just went around telling people, kept telling his story. I had a lot of visions of Vernon. He came to me several times after his death. I mean, it's funny that we're on the phone on your podcast because I actually had a dream about him about 3 nights ago. So my faith, and also who Vernon was. And then the other thing, Rexx Ruger, man, you know, I think the thing that kind of kept me too beside my faith, just remember how, you know, how he lived his life, and just telling people it's not so much how a person dies, but it's how they live to impact the lives of others. You look at great people, it's how they live their life to influence and you know, affect others with their positivity. So that's how I look at Vernon now. I wear him in my heart, I wear him on my sleeve, I think about him every day. But I think the life that he lived, he was so full of life. That's how I kind of get over, kind of get day to day, not get over, but go day to day to keep me motivated.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, I was a CNA for almost 10 years, man. And you know, doing that direct patient care, really getting down to the bare bones, nitty gritty of helping people and being there for folks. It really is something to be said about Vernon making those houses for them kids and really going in and putting his hands in and getting his own hands dirty. That I respect that so much, dude. And it's just one of those things, like, for me, and like, it's something that, like, you can't teach that. You know what I'm saying? You can't teach that.
And for people that don't know, he's obviously speaking about the Destiny's Child, you know, where he helped a lot of developmentally disabled people down there. And speaking to Benji's point, he wasn't just a figurehead or a guy that just built these buildings in his honor. He would actually roll up his sleeves and go in there and work with these folks.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that story up. How Vernon, you know, we have mental health in our family, and Vernon had been around, you know, so many people, and what made him great also was he crossed racial, geographical, socioeconomics, social intergenerational, and so he crossed all of those barriers, you know, with his career. And that was a young man, one of his clients, who it took him an hour to tie his shoe. And Vernon was sitting there one day, something that take you and I 5 seconds, and it's a wrap. It took him a whole hour, and that broke him. That really broke Vernon. And he took him in. You know, if you go back and look at HBO, they did a phenomenal job when Vernon fought Shane. They came to the box, came a couple of his fights, and they called him Uncle Vernon. He was very hands-on with them. A lot of them, you know, they got jobs and life skills, and Vernon was hands-on. He was so instrumental in their lives. So not only he was like a father figure to them, he was like a big brother, but also a father figure to them.
How does a guy like Vernon get into boxing, though? Because you guys all seem to be so well-grounded and come from such a great background. He doesn't strike me as the type of kid that would be scrapping out in the streets a lot.
Great point. Vernon had an attitude when we were younger. Vernon had small, tiny legs, tall guy. Of course, I'm a short, he's a tall guy. You know, the guys we ran the street with, he was pretty much taller than most of us. And he just had a quick temper. And so Vernon went in the gym at 8 o'clock. It was a gym called, at 8 years old, rather. It's a gym called Schaefer Gym in our old neighborhood. And Vernon went into this gym at 8, and he found his life passion. He said, I'm going to win the gold medal, put it around my mom's neck. I'm going to become a professional boxer, take care of my mom. So he knew his destiny at 8 years. Actually, he was a year too young to start boxing, but they let him come into the gym.
Well, I was in a room full of Sugar Shane Mosley fans the night that he fought Sugar Shane Mosley, and I was one of very few that gave him any kind of a chance to win that fight. You know, you knowing him the way you do, and I could be wrong on this, is that the biggest moment of his career that, according to him, or was there something bigger? Was the Olympics maybe bigger?
Well, I think that those are two excellent questions. Let's look at the Olympics first. I think the Olympics broke Vernon hard. I mean, he really won that match, and against Costas do. I really don't like the Olympic scoring system. I think they should trash it.
Yeah.
But he had a stomach virus. It just shows you the eye of the tiger, and this guy was a warrior. So he still fought. And my mom was able to go over there in Barcelona, Spain, 92, but he still fought the guy with a weak stomach. He was weak, but he still fought like a lion, like the lion that he is. And he lost the match, and so he went on. He turned pro. After that, he moved to Vegas, and he was hurt. I mean, he was. If you knew Vernon, he was devastated. I mean, this was his crowning moment. I mean, you're on the world stage. That's like the first world stage. Madison Square is like the second greatest stage in the world, in my opinion. And so. Now, getting back to Shane, I personally believe now Vernon was under the same people who managed Sweet Pea. So really, Sweet Pea was out there. Vernon, that was a couple of times they sparred. They got into a fight a couple of times. One time they got into a fight, but God bless his soul. Sweet Pea, great defensive fighter. Just amazing fighter.
Amazing.
Yeah. So he was amazing. He's a Hall of Famer. So we take nothing away from him. But I believe, me personally, I believe Vernon was already great before Sugar Shane Mosley, but he just never got his chance. It's almost like James Brown said, I don't want nobody to give me nothing, just open up the door. So you can't fail or succeed without an opportunity. So I believe Vernon was already great before he met Shane Mosley in New York City. But you know what? When the time came, when the opportunity presented itself, you're at Madison Square Garden, the biggest stage on the biggest night of his life. And the guy was ready. Vernon was ready, man.
Go ahead, Benji.
No, I mean, we're talking about Vernon fighting, man. And you know what I want to unpack, Dad? You know what I want to unpack, man?
I do. Yeah, go ahead.
I was back and I was looking. Obviously, I want to tell you, LAVERT, right now, I'm on the right side of 30, man. So a lot of what Vernon did in the ring is just, I can go back and assess it and watch it, but I wasn't there for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I go back and I watch Vernon versus Mayorga 1.
Right.
And then I watch 2.
Right.
So I see, a bad stoppage in 1, I believe, and I know that Rexx is my dad. I know my dad agrees with me. Bad stoppage.
Yeah.
And I want to just touch on that for a minute and say that I believe it's a bad stoppage because of the fact that he's the champion, and you at least got to give him 20, 30 seconds. If you don't prove nothing, then okay, step in and stop it. But
yeah, Vernon didn't look good. Vernon didn't look good when he got knocked down by Ricardo, man. But I don't think you instantly just wave the fight off.
Yeah. Vernon was more disappointed because he's a fighter. He's a warrior. The dude, I mean, we played sports growing up in the Boys and Girls Club in Augusta, man. Vernon hated losing ping pong, which is table tennis, pool,
competitive
pool, ice hockey, floor hockey, flag football, or whatever, basketball. He hated losing any. So I can't even imagine. I can imagine Vernon being in the ring that night. I wish he wouldn't have taken the fight. In a way, I wish he wouldn't have taken that particular fight. But me personally, I don't think Vernon was 100% at the time as well. That first fight, I think the first fight Vernon wasn't 100%. It was something about him when he fought Mayorga. But yeah, they could have. I think they stopped. The fight prematurely, and Vernon knew he had that was a second fight clause in the contract.
Yeah.
So I mean, I hate that he lost in that fashion. The first fight against Mayorga, I hate it, but it was.
Don't get Benji started on that second fight because I know.
Wait, no, I want to say really quick. When I went back and watched him, I remember Vernon, but only it's like a blip of memory because I was like a child. But like when I watched the first Mayorga fight, That's the Vernon I remember though, with the little braids, those
Yeah.
little like that's the Vernon. I saw him and I'm like, that's Vernon, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know what you're unhappy about in the second fight.
The second fight, though,
Speak on it.
I actually got my scorecard right here in my hands. I was going over this earlier, and I know my dad had 115, 113 for Vernon, but I want to know what you think about this, because obviously you was there, probably you saw the fight, and I know the judges and the referee didn't take a point, but I took a point for rabbit punches, and I had 115, 112 for Vernon with rabbit punches.
There was a lot.
It was a close. Yeah, it was a lot. I think that fight, Vernon won the second fight. Vernon, after Vernon lost that fight, they gave the fight to Mayorga, the second fight. When Vernon urinated, he had blood coming out of his urine. You know, I was talking to Rexx yesterday, and Friday. Vernon walked out of the ring, and he didn't speak to the media.
Quickly.
We all know that Vernon never did that. Anytime, you know, you saw Vernon fight, but he knew that they took that fight away from him. I mean, he fought a great fight. His heart was broken. His pride was broken, and he was very disappointed. I mean, he lost twice against the same guy. His shoulder, that first guy, his right shoulder wasn't all the way there. The first fight, the second fight, he was ready, health-wise and all that kind of good stuff. But he knew they took that fight from him. Now he did a press conference the next day. He went to the press and spoke out. But he knew he won that fight.
Period. I have a theory. Yes.
I gotta say, LAVERT, man, I counted 4 times that the ref stepped in and told Mayorga, stop hitting him in the back of the head. And I was actually watching the fight and talking to my dad on the phone, and I said, how many times do you warn a man before you point him?
Right.
Or DQ him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we've obviously seen rabbit punches can come back to do a lot of damage to guys later on in their career.
Yes, they can. Yeah.
You know? And honestly, not to put Vernon in a bad light or anything, but you wonder what that, like, he passed away at 38, but you wonder what kind of damage that might have held up at 51 or whatever he'd be now.
Yeah. I agree. Vernon, he talked about that. He talked about his life after boxing, and he talked about things, you know, he was a great proponent of having some type of policy with boxers, because boxers get a raw deal when it comes to their life after boxing and you know, the concussions they've had in boxing. He was a great proponent in trying to look out for the future and the outlook on boxing, just like the NFL. Vernon was very outspoken about boxers, their career in the ring as well as outside of the ring.
Yeah. Now, I think one thing that you could certainly clear up now is of course, we never want to think about it or relive it, you know, but the night that this happens to Vernon, first of all, thankfully, all 3 of these gentlemen are serving life sentences and are securely behind bars.
Correct.
Which is certainly good news. Is that out of character? Now, obviously, you know, the story is Vernon had his 11-year-old godson with him at the time. Do you think that this was premeditated or planned because maybe Vernon was a guy who's getting out and filling the air in his tire, and he might have a rollie on or a nice car?
Yeah, I think, well, you know, Vernon had a premonition years before that on I can't think of the social media, but he had a dream that he dreamt that 4 guys robbed him. And he woke up and he grabbed it, you know, like he wanted to make sure his gun was beside him. So he had a dream about his, you know, somebody trying to rob him, 4 guys trying to rob him. It was actually 5 guys. It was 5 perpetrators. One of the guys ended up getting killed. Like later on, this guy, he got killed. A guy gunned him down. But yeah, what happened was, they saw Vernon pull up. We went to all 3. So basically, he had 3 trials. The first 2, Vernon was killed in 2009. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first 2 trials, the guy who masterminded and the guy who robbed him had a trial 2013. The last trial was a death penalty trial, but we didn't want the guy to get, the death penalty. So he got life plus 10 years. So Vernon was an easy target. So it was a bad neighborhood. Vernon knew the neighborhood. Vernon had a watch on, his gold watch, which he got robbed, a necklace, in his world championship boxing ring. And so so that was about maybe 7 camera shots. You would see this one camera shot where, they went to the gas station and then they came up. Vernon pulled in front of the gas station. You can see Vernon getting out of the car.
Yep.
Vernon was on the phone. It was his right passenger tire that had a slow leak in it. They need air. So you can see Vernon. Here's the store. Vernon gets out the car on the phone, walk around and look at the back tire, then scan the area. Walk back into the car while little man had got out of the car. He went to the car about 3 times. Vernon sent him in to get, some change for the tire. Came back out, sent him in for a Gatorade and a Snicker bar, and then he gave little man some money to buy him something. When Vernon got back into the car, little man is in the store, right? Vernon locked the door and pulled his gun on the side of the console and put it in his crouch. So what I believe was God was telling him that in boxing, okay, what's the first thing they say in boxing before you fight? Most of it.
Protect yourself at all times.
Okay, so yeah. I believe his street credibility, his street sense, and his spiritual sense was telling him. And there were all kind of, there were all kind of activity going on that night. Somebody was trying to sell CDs. One lady was a homeless lady, was begging for money. So when he put that gun down, it was letting him know that you need to protect you. Be careful. I don't feel right.
Yeah. And is that out of character? When Vernon pulls out his gun and starts to give chase, he's like a superhero, for God's sakes, man. He's running these guys down. That's crazy. Is that in his nature?
Actually, it is. Actually, Evander Holyfield, the great champion, Evander Holyfield, he mentioned when they were in Barcelona, in Spain, a guy walked by, they walking, to the Olympic Village. A guy grabbed Vernon's hat off his head, just grabbed his Olympic hat and he ran, just grabbed his hat and ran. And Vernon chased the guy and got his hat back. So Vernon was the type of person, a lot of people say, he could have, he had insurance on his ring, he had insurance on the car, he had insurance on the jury. Why did he chase him?
Right.
I can't answer that question. It's almost like Vernon never stole. I've taken things from people. I've never seen Vernon my life. I've never seen him. I've seen him give a whole lot, not just his professional. I'm not talking about professional. I'm talking about going all the way back to amateur. I've seen Vernon give away stuff. Vernon would go and box. Vernon always had like gloves, shoes and shirts and stuff. Yeah. And he would give us his shirts and give us his boxing gear and different things like that. So it wasn't unorthodox for Vernon to give chase to the guy. So basically, Vernon is pumping air in his tire. Little man went to the store. Little man began to walk towards Vernon. So the guy got out the car. They had planned the whole thing when they saw Vernon. He's in a exclusive Jaguar.
Yeah.
Which he was leasing. He didn't own the car. He was leasing. The car had a Florida tag, which Vernon had residents from in Georgia and Florida, which most athletes do, for tax purposes. So when they saw Vernon at night around about 10-ish, 10 o'clock, either he is a professional drug dealer, either he's a NBA player, a professional athlete, or something like that. In their mind, they probably figured that he probably was either one of those.
He's a big fish. Yeah.
He's a big fish. Yeah. So they saw him before he saw them. And so they already spoke, hey man, this guy, man, look at this car, Florida tag. They didn't realize he was from Georgia. He wasn't from Florida. He had a Florida tag. So the guy who robbed him went on the sidewalk, went around to the car, and put his hand on the car and said, "Hey man, pull it out of his Ruger, hey man, give it up." So Vernon was on the phone, what? Niggas always trying to rob, niggas always trying to rob. And so Vernon slowly gave up, the jury gave up the ring, and then the guy ran. So Vernon tried to grab a couple bullets or whatever, and so you can see basically on the news when you see the video, also in the trial, you can see one dot go this way, then you see
yes.
dot go. So Vernon chased him, and so what happened was Vernon shot up in the air just to scare him. He didn't shoot at him, he just shot up,
right,
thinking that the guy's gonna, drop his stuff or whatever. And then the guy turned around and shot back at Vernon while he was trying to run. And so that's what happened with that situation. They ran over I-20, and Vernon was trying to get his things back.
Well, the good news is that these three guys aren't in prison, and we're here to not bring people down, but to remember and celebrate. And I hope that people will heed those words, and whoever listens out there, whoever is this board of directors or these people that decide who gets in the Hall of Fame, Vernon the Viper Forrest belongs there, man. And
bro, whoever's robbing athletes and stuff, stop doing that shit.
Not cool.
Those people, those athletes and stuff, they didn't grow up like that. They didn't grow up. They tried to hone their craft. They didn't grow up in the streets and doing all that extra shit. Leave them people alone, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of bad because, it's really, there is no winners and there is no losers. Yeah. Well, I'll take that back. There are no winners, but we all lost. When we lost Vernon, that community lost because all of those guys are fathers. So guess what? Their children, they got to call their fathers, and then these guys live far away from the community. One jail call may be $15 per 2 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
Who has that kind of money? So, and then on our side, we got to see Vernon in the funeral home. So, like you're right, Benji. We have to realize that's why I always talk about one love and talk about humanity. That's number one race, man. It's the human race. We really all brothers and sisters. We all come from one God. We all really family, and we don't. I'm gonna do a podcast or a video about this. When somebody get murdered, the whole community has to rebuild.
Yes.
And you take a person like Vernon would have given those guys a job. You took Vernon, man. This guy would have given you guys a job. You guys don't have to take Vernon. Vernon went to prisons and put money on guys' books. He went and talked to guys in prison. He went to the YDCs. He went to schools just because. Vernon never looked for the fanfare. He would just go somewhere. Vernon, can you come speak to some kids? Oh yeah. Let me get what's on my schedule. Yeah, I'll come see them. And Vernon did that religiously.
Yeah.
This kind of guy. I mean, he sent people to college, sent people's children to college, and all this kind of stuff. And like you say, Rex, the night he died, he was teaching his godson how to be a man. He was teaching manhood stuff.
Yeah.
I just remember a time, man, when, and I mean, say what you want, but I remember a time when the streets knew you deal with the people in the street. You don't women and children and people that ain't dealing in the streets. You don't shoot Ricky. He's trying to go to college and play football, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Ricky.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, there's a lot of controversy around his death, but they didn't even take his wallet. So you really took an innocent human being. There were two people that I witnessed. They actually, two guys, they actually saw his actual death. They described it to a T, and it's just the way it was senseless how you took his life. You could have just said, hey man, whatever, you could have just let it be, let the beef go, whatever it was, you could have let it go. This man, he gave back. He took his success and gave back to the less fortunate. He took his success and took care of so many people ate off him. He took care of so many people. He blessed so many people, so many schools, so many communities. So to take somebody like, you know, he left the world a better place. He came into the world and said, wow, you know, Vernon, Vernon and I, we used to jog. We used to, in middle school and even in high school, we would get up in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. We would go run about 10 miles and come back. So, because he ran track as well. He was a track athlete.
Oh,
so
I can see that. Yeah.
That's why he was so good as far as in the ring when it came to stamina and all that kind of stuff. Because Vernon, I'm gonna tell y'all this: summertime, we playing basketball. Vernon would leave because boxing was his job.
Right.
Next thing you know, we see Vernon with this sweatsuit on or a hoodie in the middle of the summertime making weight. Popping up Richmond, Darwin Walton weight, running because he took it seriously, man.
We lived it. Well, I mean, listen, LAVERT, I'm so glad we got the chance to meet and that we got the chance to talk.
I feel Vernon here with us right now.
Yeah, I do too, man. I do too. I feel him here right now too, man. And it does feel magical, man. And I'm glad we got the chance to do this. And all those points that you mentioned are more reasons why he should be in there, because people make a lot about Muhammad Ali. You know, he's the greatest because of the in-ring accolades, but also for the kind of man he was out in the community. And that's why Vernon Forrest belongs in the Hall of Fame, because of those special things that he did. You know,
what he did in the ring, and what he did in the ring.
And what he did in the ring, certainly what he did in the ring. Yeah, absolutely, man. We want him in there, man, and we're so glad. And please stay in touch. We would love to have you back on from time to time.
Yeah, I would love to come on. If y'all want me to come on, like even next month is his birthday, but
absolutely.
Anytime you guys want me to come on, man, don't hesitate to call, man. I appreciate what you guys doing, and y'all keep doing it big. And I'm gonna put something in the mail for both of you guys. I got a prize. I got not a prize, but a gift for both of you guys.
We appreciate that. That means a lot.
In our family's honor.
That means a lot to us, man. That means a lot to us, man. Yeah, we're very touched, man. We appreciate you doing this. Please stay in touch, man. And much love. Rest in peace to the great Vernon Forrest, his brother LAVERT on here, sharing his life with us, man. We appreciate it, brother. We really do.
Yeah, I love you, man. Y'all family now. We family. One love, man. Y'all keep up the good love. Y'all my brothers now. Our new family now.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We feel the same way. We love you too, man. Thank you.
Take care, brother, man.
Later.
All right, later.
Yeah, that was a touching one, man. That was a touching one. And we do still have another one at 9:15.
Bro,
we do still have another one at 9:15. I just put him off and sent him a message. So,
bro, just cause LAVERT left, dude, I still feel Vernon with us right now.
Much love, man. I'm glad we got the chance to do that, man. I wish we could have gone 2 more hours with LAVERT Forrest, the brother of the late.
I wasn't just saying that though, bro. Like, I really feel him.
Yeah, the late great Vernon the Viper Forrest, man. Rest in peace.
He hears us.
Yeah,
he hears us talking about the great Vernon Forrest, baby.
A hero in and out of the ring, a hero to his own family, a hero to his community, a hero and an ambassador for his sport, a hero to children, a hero to the developmentally disabled people that need to be loved and nurtured too. The guy is just solid as a rock and should be in that Boxing Hall of Fame. Come on, people, wake up, man. I mean, come on, you know.
Yeah, hey, Brophy, get with the program, my guy. I like you. I respect you. Get him in.
Get everything together, please. And on that note, man, I want to remind people to like and follow us on Facebook and like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And follow us.
Of course, a.k.a. Baby Busey Sachet, shout out Gary Busey, because I can go 15 seconds with anything.
And remember, if you want to be a champion, you got to roll with the champs.